Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Beau Show. On today's video, we are going to be talking about what do you do after you buy your newly built home. Well, if you have fur babies like me, and you don't want to take them out on a leash every morning, evening, day, you need a yard, because they need to run, they need a place to just do whatever dogs do. So, you bought your home. Well, in Oklahoma, we have a company called OK Dig. That is your first step. You're going to call them. They're going to come out and they're going to mark all the lines that you didn't know was in your yard. Now don't freak out, because there's about to be a lot of lines on this screen. So the red is going to be the fence. The yellow is going to be power. The brown, you got it, sewage. The blue is going to be water for me and my neighbor. The green is gas. And then we also have some fiber is the light blue. Man, there were so many lines in the way, I didn't even know what to do. But let's get it going. So, you set your corner posts and you let them set up for a day or so. Then, after they set up, you're going to get you a wire, a cable, rope, whatever. You're going to stretch it across there really tight. And you're going to measure. The more you measure, the less likely you're going to get off and the less headache you're going to get in the end run. So, this is my first privacy fence. It's probably not my last, but all my other privacy fences have been out of wood. And I do not like wood because of the sagging and the bowing, and it looks like crap after a couple years. So in this one we're using steel. Not no galvanized crappy crap. We're gonna use steel. This is steel 4x4 16 gauge posts. I'm spreading them 10 feet apart, concreting every post in the ground. Now I know I should probably mix it out of the hole, but it's a privacy fence, so mixing it in the hole is probably gonna be just fine. Now, for my runners, I'm going to be using 3-inch, 16 gauge, 20-foot stick C-purlin. Now, I leave some overlap on each one, so that way you can get a really good weld instead of doing just the butts. If I was to cut it to length and butt it up to each one of them, now I've got more weld. It's going to give the complete structure more rigidity, yada, yada, yada. Now, the next thing you need is you need someone that's got a welder. I've got a guy. His name's Corey McDonald. Could not have done this without him. As you can see, me and the wife were coming back through and we're literally just setting them up there and clamping them down. He comes behind us and tack, and then he finishes all the welds. This fence isn't going nowhere. I mean, it took us a day. It took us a couple days to get the post in the ground. He came out and one day we had it all welded up. And then after we had it all welded up, the C-purlin had been laying on the ground for a while, so I went ahead and we power washed it all off and got all the stuff out from the C-purlin. And we painted the entire fence. I know it's already coated, but, you know, just to paint the welds and to get enough, you know, it's just preventative maintenance is what I call it. But you paint it, the more paint you keep on it, you do a little TLC, this fence is going to last forever. Now, maybe not the pickets, but the pickets can be replaced quite easily. Now this here gate is something special. It is a 16.5-foot gate. And you're like, 16.5-foot gate, not that special. But it is 16.5-foot gate, single swinger. So I found the biggest, beefiest hinges I could find. They are super thick. I think the weldable tabs are like 1/2-inch steel, and then the ball, it's floating on a ball bearing that's greasable. I can stand on the end of this and the fence does not move, it does not sag, and I can swing on it like Mary Poppins. That's one of the reasons I do not like wood. You put this wood fence together, you put your gates together, they work great for a few months. And then everything starts to sag and bow, and it never turns out great. Then you got to adjust your hinges and you got to adjust your latches. You do this once and you forget about it. As you can see, my pad that my house is sitting on, it's got some slope to it, so we had to set the fence up that way. And then my yard's the same way. It's a complete slope, not a bad one, but it's just a slight slope, which I kind of like, because my last yard, it held water like no one's business. If it rained, you're not going to go in the backyard for at least a week, maybe 2. But this yard here's got a nice slope to it. I don't think I'd ever not have a slopey yard. Not crazy, but you know, just enough slope to get the water shedding off so it doesn't sit. Now, you're going to put your pickets on. You're going to, you know, do like a 20-foot section. You see how there's one on the far left? Well, on the top of it, you put you a screw in there. You get you a nice string, stretch it, pull it tight. Have the rope ending going from end to end. Have the rope at the bottom touching the picket. And now your next pickets, you're literally just going to touch the top of the picket to the wire. Make sure you're level-ish, and then you're just going to start slapping these things on. Now on this side of the fence, it took us about a whole day to do this side of the fence because there was a learning curve, and this is it. We were using 6 self-tapping metal screws. I would do one side, so 3 of them, and then when I'd come back to do the other side, I was splitting these pickets in half because before the self-tapping screw could get a bite, it would bow up the fence, and before it could waller out the hole to where it wasn't bowing it up, it would snap. One of them would snap it. So you had to baby it, baby it, baby it. Then after we did that side, the rest of them, we only put 3. I mean, it's self-tapping metal screw. If that thing comes out, I don't know what happened. There was a damn tornado. But, you know, you build your fence this way, you coat it with paint, say here in 10, 15 years, these pickets are just done. Replace them. Put some new paint on this here steel, and I guarantee you it'll last another 15. So, I can't stand the way a privacy fence after a few years of weathering and warping. This fence is going to look straight forever. If it starts to warp or bow, it's probably because you had a bad picket. Some pickets are just bad. You literally could put a whole fence up. I've had some that in between the runners, they'll literally turn completely sideways, just spin like a candy cane. They're just bad wood. Sometimes it's too wet. Look at that helper go. I mean, you could do this by yourself, but if you got one other person just to hold it while you start putting screws in this thing, it works phenomenally better. Not to mention, I didn't get to finish the fence because of COVID. I got 3 pallets of cedar pickets, and then guess what? Lowe's didn't get any more pickets for like 4 months, so I had like a 30-foot section with no pickets on it for months and months and months. So I just had to stretch some chicken wire over it so the dogs could actually go outside and use the yard. They kind of like the window. They got to look out through the back. They got to look at the neighbors. I think they missed their little window, so I might have to cut them some little holes to look through. Those clamps we're using, those are Irwin clamps. Those are like the best clamps you can get. You can buy some Harbor Freighters just to get you by, just to do this little deal, but let me tell you, if you think you're going to use these clamps again, just spend the money, go get you some Irwins. They're amazing. Now, I had a quote on a fence similar to the size to this one, and this was years before we bought this house, at least 4 or 5 years. Now, I had a quote out of wood, probably not even using 2x4s for runners, probably using 1x1s or something cheap. And they're not even using screws, they're using nail guns, so they're just gonna pop it up over day. They're not even putting concrete in each one of the wood posts in the ground. But the quote I got at a similar yard to this was 15.5. Now, my last wood fence, I think I had about $3,000 in that same fence that was going to cost me $15,500. I had about $300 to $3,200. This one here's a little bit more because it's in metal, but the quality is just so much better. It's not even funny. I want to say, adding up, I had about $5,200 in materials, and I traded some jet ski parts for Corey to come out and weld it all up. And then the only other thing we did, these are all the leftovers that we had. You see I'm cutting the tops off the dog ear. So I didn't like the way my fence looked with the stair-stepping look because of the way my yard is kind of slanted. So we're gonna take these and put them up top, put them on a line, and it's gonna hide that, make the fence look like it's straighter than what it really is. It's just an illusion. You can cheat it up, cheat it down, however you need to cheat it, but still cheating. There's nothing hard about this. It's just labor and watching videos. But as always, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.